Hey crafty friends, this is Jenny from crafttestamies.com, and today I have a DIY shell treasure box for you. Now I'm going to show you how to make it in this video. If you need the full instructions or the list of materials, please check the website. So the first thing we're going to do is take our 2-ply or 3-ply napkins. I got these from I think Tuesday morning, and you're going to separate them. There's a thinner printed layer and then a heavier layer. Always separate your napkins because that way they just applique so much better when using the Mod Podge. So here's my cute little octopus, and I'm going to open up my furniture formula, and the reason why I'm using the furniture formula is because it dries with a satin finish and it's also like non-sticky. So I'm just applying it here in the bottom of the box. So this is kind of like a little surprise, right? You don't know that there's going to be something inside, but it's a nice way to add that impact. So I'm adding the Mod Podge to the inside of the box and then kind of tapping in the tissue and then adding more on top. Now once you've got that all in there, and I'm not worried about wrinkles because that just kind of adds to the texture, I'm giving the outside of the box a little bit of paint too, and I'm actually using this coastal paint from Plaid. It's in the folk art line and it has a lot of texture, and I'll get to that in a minute. It's really cool. But you're going to go ahead and actually finish the inside and the bottom of your box first, and now we're moving on to the top. Okay, so as I mentioned, I'm using this coastal paint, and the reason why it's really interesting is that it has this texture to it. It's got like sand particles inside. It's almost like tinted gesso. So I'm just covering the top of this really cheap wooden box that I found at Hobby Lobby for $1.49. And as you can see, one coat is enough to completely cover up the printing that's on top. So once that is all ready and dry, I'm going to go ahead and add another layer on top. Now again, I'm using the same coastal paint, so it's got that kind of chunky texture, and I'm using almost like a dry brush technique to it. I'm letting it dry thoroughly after each layer, and I'm even giving it a little light sand just to kind of knock the top off. But at the end of the day, I actually used 5 kind of coats and colors of this paint to give it that kind of depth that I was looking for. I also went back and I gave the bottom of the box a few extra dry brush coats and just kind of built up those layers of paint so that it had a lot of depth and dimension. Once you're all done, you're just going to sand everything back down, and then you're ready to kind of start your finishing. So here's the lid all sanded down, and I just used a damp paper towel to kind of wipe it out a little bit. I also did a little extra sanding on the inside just to make sure everything was kind of smooth, and again I wiped it down with a paper towel. So here's where those beads come in handy. I actually used my hot glue and these wooden beads to create little feet for the bottom of the box. I just feel like that elevating the box makes it look a little more elegant maybe than it really is. And then I went ahead and added this beautiful dried starfish as the top. Now, you can use an authentic starfish. You could also use a shell that you have or a resin piece. That's all up to you. Now while my hot glue is cooling down and setting up, I'm adding some details with a Krylon 18 karat leafing pen. Now I've reviewed this, I've talked about how much I love them, and the reason why is because it just elevates it to be so much more elegant. So I added some of the Krylon pen around the inside lid, and then I also went around just the edges and hit the edges lightly with just the thinnest line of gold leafing. Now I added a few little touches of the Krylon marking pen on the inside of my box, right on top of the Mod Podge, and I think that that just adds a fun detail. Now I also went ahead and added a little bit of the leafing pen to my starfish. Again, this is all optional, but I just feel like it adds a little bit of an elegant touch to my project. So once you're done adding all of your little details, you are ready to go. So there you have it, an elegant little box. It's great for jewelry at your nightstand. It would be great in a powder room holding extra soaps, or just keep it handy for all of those little fun trinket treasures that you pick up at the beach. And don't forget, you've got a nice little surprise inside too. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. And hey, if you're interested, there is a giveaway going on from Friday, May 19th to the next Friday over on the blog. See the description area for details. Thanks for watching.